Hey everyone, this is Battery Blade and welcome to another video. In this video, we're reviewing this 2023 Tesla Model Y long range with Chris, the owner. It has 1,000 miles, he just got it. He's gonna tell us his thoughts.
Yeah, it's black, so it shows the dirt. Yeah, so we have what, 1,200 miles on this at this point, 1,300. One of the things I've noticed about the Tesla is it's really hard to find out how much you've driven on it. They don't like to tell you those things. This other little attachment here that will tell us that we've gone 13, 16, and we got the car with about 50 miles on it. My wife's like, why are there any miles on it? I have to get it someplace. And then the dealer told us it's not dealer, the Tesla delivery person. It's like, oh yeah, if it's less than 100 miles, it's still a new car. It's fine. Anyway, we mostly drive it around locally. We've made one long trip so far, which was from Chicago to the east side of Michigan, about 300-ish miles, a little over. But most of the other stuff is maybe driving to the city and back, which is about a 100-mile round trip. Most of our longest trips are 100 miles round trip. And so far we've loved it. We moved from a Honda Accord to this. The number one thing that, I'm going to start with the negative stuff, the suspension's very different than the Accord. So I have a family of 4. 2 of them get a little bit motion sick, so they're getting used to the new car. But I figure they'll get over it. We're adjusting on how to adapt that. Calm mode, actually, or chill mode, actually really helps with the acceleration and the deceleration. So if you get a little motion sick in the passenger seat, just switch over to chill mode. Not as fast off the line. Other than that, I like not going to the gas station. We do not have a 240 outlet installed in the garage. We don't plan on getting one. We just plug it into a regular 120. That's fine for our day-to-day travel. We travel less than 50 miles a day easily, and we work from home, so it's like perfect for us. If we were traveling longer distances more often, then I'd get the 240 installed, but it didn't seem necessary at the time. And copper wire is crazy expensive. I love the software. Honestly, one of the more fun things to do when you first get the car is buying all these little accessories and gadgets and cup holder inserts and trays that you can do here, and little trays here, and phone holders and trash cans in the side. There's an entire industry around Tesla accessories. The biggest negative I would have, and this is more of a warning if you're looking to get a Tesla, buy through referral link, click the link. Don't buy through the app. Don't click on commit until you've actually clicked the referral link and you know that you see that you're getting the referral bonus. I ended up first going through the app and like hoping that I can enter a referral code, and nope. And it's a $250 deposit, non-refundable when you do that. So then I'm like, oh, so you can only communicate with them via text message. So you're texting this person saying, hey, can you just add this on there? No, you're going to have to cancel and replace it. But that's a $250 thing. Can I get that refunded then? No, it's a non-refundable. So it was a little bit of a bitter thing. But just click the link and you won't have the same problem I had. Click the link, click the link, click the link. Blade has a link. That's the one I clicked the second time. Got some presumably free supercharging. Also, supercharging doesn't stack. Keep that in mind too. So if you have multiple benefits. But we do have 3 months of free self-driving because of the referral link, and that's been kind of fun to play with. Let's see, what else is there to say? It's a car, sort of. It's mostly just a computer on wheels. I've never been a car guy. I'm still not a car guy, but I am a computer guy, and that's why I can fidget with my Tesla right here.
Now you have 2 kids, so do they like all the little toys and stuff in it?
My son, who's turning 5 in a month, every time he gets out of the car, he's like, I think I like this car now. It's like, all right. And then my daughter, who's 3.5, she loves looking up at the window. She just stares. And then this morning she looked up. She's like, Daddy, the window's dirty. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I have to actually wash this car. Because I can tell when we're parked under a tree for any length of time. And the other thing, too, is I thought the window would be like, I was looking at the shields and stuff to block the sun. And it's completely unnecessary. We were driving over here. Sun was beating down on us. I literally looked up and was just like looking at the sun. And it was like a moon. It It's almost if you're looking through like eclipse glasses. Like it's really, really good. And then even the back windows are tinted as well. So where I'd have sunshades in my old car for the kids, we don't have to have it at all because the back window just tints everything for them. So there's the sun in their eye just isn't a thing. And I thought that was fairly impressive. So I don't know that I'll ever do any kind of covering on this. However, I have not had it sit out in the sun yet. So, maybe that changes in the summertime, but this time of year, it's not a problem.
And I do hear, though, in states like Arizona, it's not perfect.
Right. Yep. Now, we did get the white interior, which everyone's like, you have kids, that's brave. This stuff, nothing on it sticks. Like I can just wipe, I have a towel in the back, and my son gets in the car this morning and immediately after he's walked through a muddy yard, starts walking on the seats. And I'm like, no. And he's like, what? I'm like, well, now you have mud on the seats. He's like, oh. And I'm like, I wipe it off and he sits down. He's like, okay, are we good? Yes. So the seats are completely fine. I would say the black shows a lot more dirt than the white does, honestly. Obviously you can see that from the outside, but even on the inside, there's more, dirts and stains on the black stuff than on the white.
My next question is, how does the family like supercharging?
So supercharging is actually kind of fun. We make it, so we've only done it about a half a dozen times, and it's almost a destination. So we have a grocery store near us that is open 24 hours. So actually, the first time I supercharged, I drove to the grocery store, plugged in at like 12:30 at night, went shopping, came back, car was all charged up, and drove back. It was completely unnecessary. I just wanted to try out the supercharger because it's free for us. But when the kids were with us, we just pulled in, watched an episode of Bluey on Disney Plus, and by the time it was over, which these are 7-minute episodes, we were charged enough where we were going on our way. So, and yeah, that's basically what we watch when we supercharge. Is we watch Bluey. If you have kids, watch Bluey. If you don't have kids, but no kids, watch Bluey.
And when driving from Illinois to Michigan, how do you find these chargers? Are you really worried about that?
No, I mean, honestly, my thing with the charger was not that they were too far away or anything like that. It was like, well, wait a minute, I don't really want to use that one. I kind of want to use this one, but you just stop when it tells you to stop, and it actually is plotting it out so that you're only at a charger for maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then it wants you to go to the next one because it charges a whole lot faster if you're low. It wants you to drive on a low battery. And I'm like, I want to charge a little bit more, apparently for the first trip. But I don't really think I'm going to do that in the future. In the future, we're going to stop. We're going to go to the bathroom and then jump back in the car and go. Because there are so many chargers that if I was concerned, I could always just make an extra stop in there. And then the other thing too, being in the Midwest, winter roads and things like that, I think during the winter, I'd be a little bit more concerned and want to charge up more. But on a typical road trip, I've only been on one leg so far. On the way back, I'll know more. But so far, if I would have just trusted what it told me, I would have probably cut a half hour off my trip.
And what do you think of not having a heads-up display? You obviously just got this Tesla Logic.
So for me, you kind of get used to the fact that speed limit is the speedometer is right here. It's not really checking the speed that had me get the Tesla Logic. Having the extra stuff here is kind of neat, but mostly it's that the car can go so fast without you realizing it that having something else to just kind of glance down at is very handy to be like, hey, you're going, 65 and a 45, and you're not trying to do that on purpose. So that's really where I got like, get a bigger display to pop in front of me. But mostly that's because I'm just in the habit. You in a gas car, you can kind of feel how fast it's going. Here, you don't feel how fast it's going. If like the engine runs at 20 miles an hour as it does at 70 miles an hour. And so if you're not used to that or using cruise control, which I'm trying to get more in the habit of, you can really get your speed up there without and it takes seconds, like literal seconds. So that's really why I got the heads up here.
So overall, you don't mind touching a touchscreen while driving?
So the thing is, I don't actually touch the touchscreen that often while driving. There's not a lot that you need to do on the screen while driving. All your main controls are right in front of you. And the most that I would ever do is sometimes I might touch the climate control. But honestly, that was just for the first couple of days where I wasn't used to using auto because auto in my old car was really bad. Here, I just set it and I don't think about it. So I just don't touch the screen while driving.
Mm-hmm.
Unless something cool happens. And then I press this little save snapshot button here.
Would you say that's like one of your favorite features, the dash cam?
I would say it's an interesting feature that I've used occasionally. So when you park the car and you come back, and it's like, you have Sentry on and it's like 3 alerts, and you're watching people getting in and out of their cars. It's kind of funny, a little voyeuristic, but for like we drove by a car fire on the way here, and then normally I might take out my phone and take a picture of it, which is less safe than just pressing the button and saving the clip, because now it's like, oh yeah, we have this car fire we drove by, and that's like, I mean, it's not funny for the person who was in the car fire. It didn't seem like anyone
was it an electric car fire?
It was not. It was a combustion fire. But like, if you witness an accident or something, the fact that you can just click that button, and now you have something that you can provide to emergency responders or something. I think that's a kind of a really cool thing. Hopefully, I don't have to do that, but the fact that it's there is useful.
And it's like you have a reliable witness that if you go through a green light and somebody hits you, you have it showing you had a green light.
Yeah, I mean, the number of times where it's like your word against theirs, it's like, well, now it's my word and 8 different camera angles against theirs. So, which I don't think it does the 8. I think it does at least 3 though. 4 front, back, left, and right. There's a lot of camera angles better than just your words alone.
And do you use theater mode a lot?
So yes, sort of. Because everything's already on my phone, I don't actually need theater mode. But there's sometimes that if I'm sitting at a charger anyway, pop up YouTube or Netflix or something, it's usually Disney Plus or YouTube, is kind of cool. I will say one thing is with the kids in the back seat, they really can't see as much as the screen as you think they can, because they have to like crane their head to see. My son gets to see this half, my daughter gets to see that half, and then if we're parked, they can kind of lean in and see the.
You need a split screen mode.
Exactly, but they have their iPads 90% of the time anyway, so it's not like we're using this as an entertainment center. It's more or less just kind of an added neat thing. But like I said, if you're sitting and you want to watch something together, it's kind of neat to just be able to pop it on there. So it'd be awesome and illegal if you could do that. The passengers could watch something while you're driving, but yeah, that's never going to happen. So,
well, did you know you used to be able to play the arcade mode while driving?
That sounds fun. Beach buggy racing too.
Yeah, I don't think you can play that game.
Doesn't that actually use the steering wheel for the controller? Yeah, I haven't actually played anything in here. I will say I have played around with the toy box. The whole light show thing, that's pretty cool. So, like, if you haven't played around with the light show, do it. I did it. So we were getting out of the car. Zachary had just said, I think I really starting to like this car. So he's walking into the house. He's about to open the door, and all of a sudden the car goes whoop, and he stops. And my daughter and I are in the back of the car, and she stops. Whoop, whoop. And then all of a sudden the car just starts glowing and dancing. And within 10 seconds, they're like dancing along with the car and running in, telling their mom, the car was dancing and singing at us. It was awesome. The other thing that's a little bit kind of a mind change is being able to have the car on in a closed garage. It still to me is like a weird, because like you do that in a combustion engine and you're just killing everybody. Here it's like, no, it's just a computer and you're just sitting in the garage. So I still like every once in a while like, oh, should we be cracking the garage? No, that's fine. But that's great. I don't get the air smells cleaner when I get out of the car thing. But the fact that it's not, I don't need to worry about accidentally forgetting to open the garage in the wintertime when I'm trying to warm up the car. That's not something you have to worry about with this, which is something you really had to like think about every single time we warmed up the car.
And you can just remotely start it from your phone. Don't have to worry about even going out there and checking on it.
Yeah. And well, the nice thing, because we had remote start in the other car too, but that was the thing. You had to open the garage and then remote start it. Here, I just have it set to be like, be ready at 8:15 every morning. And then it just heats up and it's ready at 8:15 every morning. So, I mean, it's just some things you just don't have to think about. When you get in the car, you're not pressing the start button. When you leave, you don't even worry about putting it in park. We have it in park now, but if this is in drive or reverse and I open the car, it automatically goes to park, right? That's not something that your traditional car does. You get out of your car and it's in drive, you've just driven through the back of your garage. So those types of things are kind of like just...
Even going from a Tesla to an electric vehicle, I always struggled with my Bolt remembering to turn off my car.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know that you're supposed to turn off a Bolt, right?
Well, there's a stop and start button,
yeah.
But in the Tesla, you get in, it's on.
Yeah, yeah. And I love the key. The phone is your key. And that when I get in the driver's seat, it adjusts the seat to me. When my wife gets in the driver's seat, it adjusts the seats to her. And because she's 6 inches taller than I and completely different seat profile, and it'll just like the car just but it's not a problem if she gets in the passenger seat. It doesn't. So it's really, really interesting how it knows.
Look at this electric Rivian van.
Nice, nice.
So that is an all-electric van. It's got... Now, final thoughts. Would you recommend a Model Y to anyone, or a different Tesla model, or any other electric vehicle?
So yes, and I've already tried to sell my neighbors on it. The biggest thing I would say, though, is instead of just recommending, is check it out. One of the reasons I never even considered a car until this Thanksgiving, when you guys are like, hey, take this car for a drive, is because of the price. Like, for the last decade or so, Teslas have just been a luxury thing, right? And because they've come so far down in price over the last year, it's like worth looking again. We didn't get this car because it's a Tesla or it's electric or I'm an environmental activist or crazy, or all of that stuff is great, but it's a bonus to the fact that it's just a cheaper car than the equivalents, and it's cheaper to maintain, it's easier to maintain, and it, yes, you can say the software is always getting updated, your car is always getting better over time, but bottom line is we're going to save several $1,000s a year on this car, and the car wasn't any more expensive than an equivalent that we were looking at gas-powered car. So had I known that earlier, we would have gotten a car earlier. So that's the thing. Check out these prices. This is, I think the base model of this is like a 40K or something like that.
Yeah.
And then with the Model 3, which is this one's like a hatchback, has a little bit more space for the family. The Model 3, which is basically the same thing, just a smaller car.
It's like 38,000.
Yeah. So you can, they're not that expensive compared, and you're not paying for gas.
Yeah. The average new car price in the United States is $46,000.
Yep.
Tesla starts at $38,000.
Yep. I mean, it doesn't have all the luxury, trimmings that you would see cars in the inside, but at the same time, you can accessorize it to be anything you want. And you see people change the steering wheel, change the dashboard, adding, like, there's so much stuff you can do to customize this car that you really can't do with other cars, which is why Tesla has like an aftermarket accessory thing. You're just not going to see that anyplace else. So I will say, this is the best-selling car in the world, I think, the Tesla Model Y. Partly because Tesla only has 4 models, and this one is probably their best one. But in general, there is a reason. There is a reason why this car is so well thought of. Like, it's hard to find things that are bad with it. You can find a few annoyances that you don't like, that you like on this car, you're better than that car. But like, the car just drives nice.
And I really love the storage space of the trunk. Is much bigger on the Model Y than the Model 3.
Yep. We drove, the last time we were up here was with the Accord, which is a large 4-door sedan. And when I packed this trip, which was the same family, same stuff, we had like a ton of extra space. It just felt like, wait a minute, why do I have all this extra space here? And it's, like the front, I don't really put a ton of stuff in there. That's where all the charging cables and basically the Tesla stuff goes in the front. But for all the kid stuff, it just fits.
Yeah, and you can even like fit a carry-on in the front, I think.
You can, if it's a small one, you can definitely fit a duffel in there. shape of it, because of the rounded corners, sometimes depending on the size of your suitcase or whatever, might not fit. But like I said, I have, the charging cables in there, the ice scrapers and things like that, like all the car stuff that you have to have. I just put that all in the front, and then all the stuff I want to have access to, it goes in the back. And then underneath the back, the sub trunk in the back, I'll put like, blankets and towels and stuff, like more or less emergency stuff that I might have to get to, but typically not. No spare tire. I'll have to get used to that. You don't have a spare tire, so watch your tire pressure. But other than that, it's not bad. You can get a spare tire for it, and they're reasonably priced. It's just
Yeah, I wonder. I don't think there's enough room in the sub trunk to put a.
not in the
spare tire.
sub trunk. You'd have to put it on the top. But the Tesla spare tires, they have a nice carrying case and stuff, so you could do it. I didn't worry about it for this trip, just because the tires are brand new. But we have a fix a flat kit in the front, so if there's like a puncture or something, we could fix it. And then the Tesla roadside service, if you do need it, you go to the app, click, and they send someone out to help you out. So
yeah,
I'm not too
concerned. Did you have any service appointments after you got the car?
No, we did have a recall. Ooh. That I did not even realize. It was just like Tesla recall. That was all in the news. And then I woke up, I was like, hey, your software's been updated. Oh, cool. Which they do every month anyway, so I didn't pay any attention to that. But yeah, no, the car came. I know there were some people who would complain like, oh, the make quality, check all the seams and stuff. Like the car's been solid. Been no problem.
Yeah, I didn't hear any weird road noises.
No, everything is just like it is what you would expect for a new car.
Yeah, and lots of service centers in Illinois.
Yeah.
I really gotta work on not pronouncing the S in Illinois in front of somebody from Illinois, because it's really starting to make me look dumb.
Buying it, but there's still superchargers everywhere, at least on our route. So
and still service centers too.
Yeah.
Poor other states that only get one service center for every 200 miles.
Yeah, I think we had like 5 within 50 miles of us that we could have picked the car up from and have the car serviced at. So, yeah, the Chicago area is quite friendly. I think any metropolitan area would be.
All right. Thank you for doing this interview with me and taking me for a ride in your Model Y and more than that.
Yeah, no, I may start a YouTube channel that I just drive around in the car, because apparently those are very successful. I watch them nonstop. Yeah, maybe I'll have something to plug later.
So yeah, thanks for using my referral code, or not code, as you said.
Referral link. Click the link. Don't commit without clicking the link.
All right, that wraps up our video. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.